Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Hare Krishna, Abhay Prabhu, please continue. Yes. Jai.
Hare Krishna. So we, on the behalf of Bhaktivinoda Youth Services Manipal, are very pleased to welcome all of you to our program. And it's not any ordinary program, it's a celebration of the most auspicious occasion of Sri Krishna Janmashtami. I know we all had the celebration last week, Wednesday, but today we have again organized this so that all of us can on a Sunday easily gather together to have, get together and celebrate in a wonderful fashion. So this is being done this time by Manipal BYS or Bhaktivinoda Youth Services in a very new way, never done before, okay, on online way. And so just to give a brief intro of who we are, the Bhaktivedanta Youth Services is a student organization in Manipal and also different parts of the country. But here, BYS Manipal, the Bhaktivedanta Youth Services, we are, basically we get together, at least we used to get together, and, we used to read the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and we give the teachings and help the youth with these teachings so that they can face the common youth problems like addictions and suicides and depression. So that's what basically we do, right? And every Saturday we had this program, and every year we had two annual major functions, and one of them was Janmashtami. So those who have attended our previous Janmashtamis know with what great pomp and grandiosity we celebrate Janmashtami. So this time the same pomp and glory is online, and I think almost 50 of you have joined. So we are very grateful that you have taken out your leisure time and joined us today on this festive occasion. And so yeah, basically our student organization was started way back in more than 20 years ago, and it's based on the teachings of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of the ISKCON movement, or is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, right? And so before we can continue with the proceedings of this program, I'd like to give it over to Satish, Dr. Satish, who is a postgraduate in biochemistry, and he will be rendering an invocation to the for invoking the blessings of the Supreme Lord, so that everything whatever we do, it will be successful tonight, right? So over to Dr. Satish.
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Today I am going to sing this invocation, one among the Vedantic verbs written by Jagadguru Sri Adi Shankaracharya, Vasudeva Ashtaka. Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Atasi Pushpa Sankasham हारनूपुरशोभितं रत्नकङ्कणकेयूरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Dr. Satish, for a wonderful rendition to invoke the blessings of the Lord. So, with that done, now let us move on to our next program of Abhishekam. So, just before that, I'll just tell something about Janmashtami so that we all know what we are doing. Janmashtami is a special occasion which is actually a celebration of the birth appearance of Lord Sri Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, right? And he comes. He comes and he descends to this planet time and again, millennium after millennium, to establish dharma, to annihilate all kind of evil on this planet, and also to protect his devotees. And when he comes here, he performs wonderful pastimes to attract all our hearts, and so that we can all, ultimately go back to his abode, the spiritual abode, right? So that's why he comes, and through his teachings like the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and many in with the various with the Vedic literatures, he has given us the information by which we can be enlightened, by which we can overcome the inevitable sufferings of the daily living in this world, and we can go back to him, right? So such a wonderful person, Sri Krishna. That's why we are celebrating his birthday. And this in this COVID pandemic, of course, it's a very disastrous period for all of us because millions of lives are being lost. And in this pandemic, there's lots of separated and they cannot see the loved ones. And in that suffering, we would like to pray to that Almighty to show His mercy upon all of us in these disastrous times. At the same time, this COVID pandemic has turned out to be wonderful in the way that it is allowed for such a wonderful gathering of all of us from different parts of the world. Like literally, we have people from different corners of the world today attending this program. And with that, next would be Abhishekam, which is, of course, as most of you know it, is the offering of sacred items and sacred paraphernalia to the Lord. Just like how if we have to feel satisfied, we have to put food in our mouth and into the stomach. Then our limbs, the hands and the legs and the head and the brain, everything is nourished. Similarly, because we are all part and parcels of Krishna, the Supreme Person, when we satisfy him by offering milk and when we offer juices and when we offer honey, when he is satisfied, automatically we are all satisfied, right? So that is the science and that is the principle behind what we will be doing. So I request all of you to sit back and relax and enjoy the wonderful festivity that is lined up for you now. So over to the Abhishekam team. And of course, accompanying that will be the wonderful Kirtan by Sudama Prabhu and team.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. ईश्वरः परमः कृष्णः सच्चिदानन्द विग्रहः अनादिरादिर्गोविन्दः सर्वकारणकारणम् चिन्तामणि प्रकरसद्मसु कल्पवृक्ष लक्षावृतेषु सुरभिरभिपालयन्तम् लक्ष्मी सहस्रशतसम्भ्रम सेव्यमानम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि वेणुं कणन्तमरविन्ददलायताक्षं बर्हावतं समसितामुदसुन्दराङ्गं कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आलोलचन्द्रकलसध्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नांगदं प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासं श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितं नियतप्रकाशं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अङ्गानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मय सदुज्ज्वल विग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यां पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभमात्मभक्तो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि पन्थास्तु कोटिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायोरथापि मनसो मुनिपुङ्गवानां सोऽप्यस्ति यत्प्रपदसीम्न्यविचन्त तत्त्वे गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि एकोऽप्यसौ रचयितं जगदण्डकोटिं यच्छक्तिरस्ति जगदण्डक्षयाय दन्तः अण्डान्तरस्थ परमाणुचयान्तरस्थं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यद्भावभावितधियो मनुजास्तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमाशनयानभूषाः सूक्तैयमेव निमयप्रतिथैस्तुवन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आनन्दचिन्मयरसप्रतिभाविताभिः ताभिर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि प्रेमाञ्जनच्चुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्य गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि रामादिमूर्तिषु कलनियमेन तिष्ठन् नानावतारमकरोद्भुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्णः स्वयं समभवत् परमः पुमाद्यो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो जगदण्डकोटि कोटिष्वशेष वसुधादि विभूति भिन्नम् तद्ब्रह्मनिष्कलमनन्तमशेषभूतम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि माया हि यस्य जगदण्डशतानि सूते त्रैगुण्य तद्विषयवेद वितायमाना सत्त्वावलम्बि परसत्त्वं विशुद्धसत्त्वं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आनन्दचिन्मय रसात्मतया मनसो यः प्राणिना प्रतिफलं स्मरतामुपेत्य लीलायितेन भुवनानि जयत्यजस्रम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोलोकनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्य देवी महेश हरिधामसु तेषु तेषु ते ते प्रभावनिचया विहिताश्च येन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि सृष्टि स्थिति प्रलय साधन शक्तिरेखा छायेव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य चाचेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि क्षीरं तथा दधि विकार विशेष योगात् संजायते न हि यतथा पृथगस्ति हेतो यः शम्भुतामपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि दीपार्चिरेव हि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवृतहेतु समानधर्मा यस्तादृगेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यः कारणाणवजले भजति जगदण्डसरोमकूपः आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परां स्वमूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्यैकनिश्वसितकालमथावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथाः विष्णुर्महान् स इह यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि भास्वान् यथाश्म सकलेषु निजेषु तेजः स्वीयं कियत् प्रकटयत्यपि तद्वदत्र ब्रह्माय एष जगदण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुम्भा द्वन्द्वे प्रणाम समये स गणाधिराजः विघ्नान् विहन्तमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अग्निर्महे गगनमम्बुमरुदिशश्च कालास्तथात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयाणि यस्माद्भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यच्चक्षुरेश सविता सकलगृहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेष तेजाः यस्याज्ञया भ्रमति संहृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि धर्मोऽथ पापनिचया श्रुतयस्तपांसि ब्रह्मादिकीटपतगावधयश्च जीवाः यद्दत्तमात्रविभवप्रपटप्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्त्विन्द्रगोपमथवेन्द्रमहोस्वकर्म बन्धानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजाम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यं क्रोधकामसहज प्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोह गुरुगौरवसेव्य भावैः सञ्चिन्त्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रियः कान्ताः कान्तः परमपुरुषः कल्पतरवो ध्रुमा भूमिश्चिन्तामणि गणमयी तोयममृतम् कथागानं नाट्यं गमनमपि वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं ज्योतिः परमपि तदा स्वाद्यमपि च सा यत्र क्षीराब्धिः स्रवति सुरभिभ्यश्च सुमहान् निमेषार्धाख्यो वा व्रजति नाही यत्रापि समयः भजे श्वेतद्वीपं तम् अहम् इह गोलोकमिति यम् विदन्तस्ते सन्तः क्षितिविरलचाराः कतिपये ईश्वरः परमः कृष्णः सच्चिदानन्दविग्रहः अनादिरादिर्गोविन्दः सर्वकारणकारणम् हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sundara Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Bo. Hari Keshava Hari Govinda, Hari Narayana Hari Bo. Hari Sundara Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Hari Keshava, Hari Govinda, Hari Keshava, Hari Narayana, Hari Bol, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Bol, Hari Narananda Mukunda, Hari Narayana, Hari Bol. Hari Sundarananda Mukunda, Hari Narayana, Hari Bol. Hari Keshava, Hari Govinda, Hari Keshava, Hari Govinda, Hari Narayana, Hari Bol, Hari Narayana, Hari Bol, Hari Narayana.
Hare Krishna. So I hope all of you agree with me when I tell that it was a wonderful and blissful event. So up next, we have the prize giving ceremony. I'm sure many of you are waiting for this time, right? And before I go ahead with that, I would like to let all of you know that we have an online quiz that all of you can attend on our Facebook page. And there's a wonderful spiritual hamper in store for anyone who wins that quiz. Okay, so you can visit the Facebook page and attempt that quiz. And now we'll be going ahead with the prize giving ceremony, right? So as part of our Janmashtami this time, because it was online, we had the privilege of even conducting some competitions like Rangoli competition and fancy dress competition and painting competition. And we're very glad to see the overwhelming response from all of you. Yeah, so I thank all the participants, whether you win or not, it's ultimately a victory for you, because like in Kannada, they say, "Kereya neeranu kerege challi." You take the water of the Ganges and offer it back to the Ganges. Similarly, we are all been given various talents, and we use that we've been given by Krishna, and we use that talent to glorify Krishna, right? So in that way, all of you are winners. But just for formality, we have some top threes for each competition, and I would like to hand it over to Akinchan Prabhu to announce the results. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Janmashtami. Welcome, everyone. As part of our Janmashtami celebrations this year, we held three competitions, and we had a good turnout. We are very grateful for everyone who signed up and participated. Naturally, it was very difficult to choose. We had a very, very tough time. You all did so wonderfully, and it was so difficult to make the selection. But then again, we did have to choose someone as first, second, third. But actually, this is all a service to Krishna. So whatever talents we have, whatever skills we have, and we engage it in Krishna's service, our life is successful. It doesn't matter who comes first, second, third. But just to keep in the spirit of the competition, the spirit of the festival, we have conducted and we have selected some of the best paintings and the Rangoli and the fancy dress competitions. So we'll start moving forward with the painting competition. As you can see on the screen, the third place went to Deepika Bhatt. This was the category from grade 1 to 5 actually. So the third place goes to Deepika Bhatt. Congratulations, Deepika. The second place went to Vishrut Samaga. Congratulations, Vishrut. See, you can just see how beautifully they have drawn, and Krishna Makhan Chor is there, and Krishna here on Kalia's head playing the flute. So such wonderfully and such colorful. As I said, it's so difficult to choose. And now moving forward to the winner of this category is Yogana B. Amin. Congratulations, Yogana. You had the most beautiful painting with Krishna and his beloved cows. It's always beautiful to see Krishna in this pose. So yes, big congratulations to Yogna, and big congratulations to everyone who participated. Thank you for participating and giving us this and making this event successful. Next, moving on, we had some of the honorable mentions of this category. Also, you can see some of the names which we felt had a very good entries into this competition. Of course, all these things will be posted on our Facebook page. As you can see, the link is there, BYS Manipal. So please, we will be uploading this very soon, and the winners will also be contacted through Facebook chat, or somehow we'll get in touch with you. Moving on to the next category, which was from grade 6 to 10. The third place goes to Tipika Bhatt. I think it's the same there. And the second place goes to Pratishta Sheth. Congratulations. One second. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Just 1 second. All right. And moving to the first place for this category was Anup A. Congratulations, Anup A. You have done a wonderful job. It was a very beautiful painting. Like you can see Krishna in his form trying to drink milk from the cow. It's so beautiful, such wonderfully done. Congratulations, Anup A. You are the winner for this category. And now moving forward, the honorable mentions again for this category are listed here. This again will be posted on our Facebook page shortly. We will have this there, and the winners will be contacted. Moving forward to the next categories, actually it's again the special mentions for the paintings. We have from Apurva from TAPME, Momita from MCODS, third year. Thank you so much. These are such wonderful paintings. It's so beautifully done. Actually, last year we had a whole presentation. We had a whole stall where the students and everyone, the children had come and drawn. But due to the pandemic, we had conducted this an online event this time. Thank you everyone who have participated. Moving forward, we have the Rangoli competition. The third prize goes to Priyanka from Kundapura. The second prize also goes to Asha from Kundapura. And the first prize, the winner, is Vinuta from Kundapura. So congratulations to all who have participated. Congratulations to all these three winners. And again, we'll be contacting you through Facebook. And moving forward to the fancy dress competitions. Now you can see how beautifully these little children have been dressed up in Krishna's attire and depicting Krishna's Leela. It's so wonderful to see how they look so beautiful. The third prize goes to Arohi from Karkala. And the second prize goes to Vihan and Sanvi from Udupi. And the first prize, the winner, is Tejas Bhandarkar. I'm sorry if I've pronounced the name wrong, but congratulations to all these wonderful entries. Thank you so much. And I know everyone who has put in all the effort. We consider everyone to be a winner. And naturally, it is difficult to choose. We had a really difficult time. But yes, congratulations to all those who have participated. The fancy dress and the honorable mentions which we felt, Kamish Lakhmani from Delhi, Krishna Shinoy from Kundapura, and Prisha Ladha from Bilwara, Rajasthan. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for sending in your entries. It was so wonderful to have. And again, I keep mentioning this because we really had a tough time choosing the winners. So yes, and moving forward, this is the remaining schedule for the day. I will hand over to Abhay Prabhu. We can take it from here. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, just a second. I think there was a small error. The third prize for grade 1 to 5 in the painting competition was Dhriti S from Vidya Niketan Public School in Brahmavara. So sorry about that. There was a little confusion. So let me just name the winners for the painting competition once again. The third prize goes to Dhriti S in the grade 1 to 5 category. Second prize goes to Vishrut Samaga, and the first prize in that category goes to Yogana B. Amin.
And just to announce the other grade as well, just once again, just to have no confusion. Deepika Bhatt in the grade 6 to 10 category is third place. Pratishtha Sheth is second place, and Anup A is first place in that category. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Angesh Pru. Thank you, Akinchan Pru, for the prize giving event. So, um, please, no one should be distressed because of the results, right? So, being inspired by the overwhelming response by all your participation, we are more inspired to, conduct more and more such programs. So, you will be intimated at the earliest when we are going to conduct similar programs or similar competitions. So, in the meanwhile, you keep practicing and increasing your finesse and art, right? So next event we have the most important, the most waited for, is we are going to hear from an elite person, so that we can really understand what what is going on and what is the significance of the occasion that we're celebrating tonight, right? So we have the lead speaker. His name is Grace Madhav Das. So before I shift it over to him, I'll just give a brief introduction. Yeah. So he was born on 29th November 1967. He completed his MSc in botany in 1990 and his MA in philosophy in 1993 from NEHU Shillong. He joined ISKCON in June 1990 and served as a youth preacher in ISKCON Secunderabad and ISKCON Mangalore, as well as serving at the Kollur farm in South Karnataka. From 1995, for 2 years, he assisted His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Swami to coordinate various activities like National Youth Program, Srila Prabhupada Centennial Celebration, etc. And the year 2003, he moved to Gokul Dham, a farm project under ISKCON Belgaum in Karnataka. And currently he's based there in Gokul Dham and is traveling all over the country, including his travels to Mauritius and Singapore, giving seminars and training programs such as ISKCON Leads on topics related to natural living, cow protection, organic farming, and Daiva Varnashram. His main area of interest and expertise is holistic cow care and traditional construction of mud houses using lime, sand, and localized material. Having lived for almost 2 decades in farms, Prabhu has practical knowledge about developing farm communities as desired by Srila Prabhupada. He is also an advocate of the Vedic Gurukul system of education and a strong critic of modern education. Currently, he is serving as Deputy Minister of ISKCON Daivarnashram Ministry, India. Okay, so with that brief introduction, we'd like to welcome our speaker for tonight, His Grace Madhav Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Am I heard properly? Can you hear me well?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you very well.
Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Shritamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sandhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vrindaya Tulasi Divyaya Priyaya Keshavastacha Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satyavatya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpaturu Bhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shrindavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So If there's anyone who can't, I mean, if the sound has any problem, please let me know. I haven't done many programs, but this is because we are locked out. We are using this medium of communication and celebrating a festival which we normally celebrate very intimately and in large numbers in Manipal. But we are doing it this way because we are all locked up in our own areas. And therefore, it's actually very, in one sense, it's a very, I would say, a very, very different situation, which even a few months ago, we probably would have never thought that we will be doing things like this. Each of us sitting in our own little rooms or in our houses will be celebrating festival or talking to people in this manner. I don't think it was even thought about that technologically this will be possible, that everyone in their own homes and their own telephones will be doing such things. And it was also even more unexpected that in the days of today, when we are so advanced technologically, that we will be stuck within houses because of a virus or because of a disease, because of a viral attack. And that too, which seems to be a rather simple virus, which is basically like a flu virus. I just got a report that former India's great cricketer and a minister, current minister of the UP government, Kirtan is dead because of COVID. So this is actually, it's a contradiction of the times, that we have such advancement, such technological advancement today. We're so technologically advanced today that we are able to do such magnificent activities today in terms of reaching out, and hundreds of people can speaking together, meeting with one another over a technological thing, as a small thing as a phone. And whereas we are unable to handle a small virus today, which has locked us all up in our own homes, it is just showing how insignificant we are. Actually, we are improving on everything that we make. Anywhere where we are making anything that we manufacture is actually getting better and better and better. But unfortunately, the things that we manage, this material world, the water, the health, and similarly, food, the ecosystem, the earth systems, the things that we are managing as human beings is getting worse and worse every day. In spite of the fact that the technology that we're doing is getting better and better. So actually, where is the problem? Is the problem in technology? Is this whole, we are in this whole situation of a lockout, fearful, big people are succumbing to to this disease. We're unable to understand what to do. We are all, caught up. Really, people can't understand what is going on. Whereas at the same time, we can also see that, is this a human problem? Is it a technological problem? Is it a nature's problem? What is it really? If you ask me, what are the lessons that I've learned from this lockdown? Because I've been locked down here from the month of February. I mean, I'm not locked down in February, but I came here in Guwahati because of certain personal things. And I'm still locked out here in the city of Guwahati, which is the place where I was born. And probably this is the longest that I ever stayed in the city. But what are my lessons that I've understood? The first lesson that I've understood from this whole activity that we have today is that no matter how advanced a nation is or how backward a nation is, the veneer of such show has actually dissipated. Advanced nation or backward nation doesn't make a difference anymore. What we are seeing is it's only a veneer. It's a very, very thin thing that is actually in front of us. And the very fact that that a very rich nation or a very advanced nation or a poor nation, both are equally vulnerable. We are all equally vulnerable in this situation, which is showing that in front of nature, we are actually all very, 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 very insignificant. And in this whole process of lockout that we are seeing, this whole process of pandemic and emergency that the whole world has come under, what we saw is what is the most important thing that was important for all of us at this stage was water. The most important thing that I remember the first 2 weeks of the lockdown, what we all water, because if things didn't break down, if our pumps didn't break down, our electrical systems didn't break down, we had to have water. And if there was going to be some breakdown, we will have big problems. So water was a big issue. Next, food. The first 15 days of this whole thing, we really understood what food meant. And then fire. For us, in this temple, we really were under a very difficult situation because we all depend on gas cylinders here to cook. And we can't just imagine, we were about 35 of us here. And what to do with this fire? If we ran out of gas cylinders in the first few days, we didn't know what to do with ourselves. And third is that we all actually understood that when we didn't have to go out, we didn't have the whole, thing of going in and out and moving here and there. What actually meant for us very important for us was good relationships during this whole pandemic and during this whole lockout, which is still going on. I'm in Guwahati and we still have 12-hour lockout every day. And Saturday, Sunday, that is today and tomorrow, yesterday and today is full lockout. We have 6 hours, 12 hours lockout. And things are still pretty strict here. So what we are seeing here is that in these circumstances, what is most important is good relationships and faith and dependence on God, because we had no other way out. If we didn't have a proper faith and relationship with God, we didn't know what to do with ourselves. We were able to survive in this temple in the circumstances because we were all fixed up with our study of our scriptures. We had our chanting to do, we had our deities to worship, and a good relationship, which was actually being tested at that point of time. Because if we didn't have good relationship, you'll be practically isolated in the circumstances, and we could even get on each other's nerves. And why I'm saying all this is because it's something that is unprecedented. We never had this. We never experienced anything like this before, ever before. To be locked out in rooms and houses, a constant fear. I'm seeing people tested. And during this whole corona epidemic, I was here because I had to do something for my mother because she had just come here. She was 78 years old. And she was okay, hale and hearty for the first 2 months that she was here. We took care of her, we saw her, we celebrated the birthday. And, the first phase of unlock started. And she said, I want to go back because she stays in a place about 100 kilometers away from here, which is cooler, up in the hills. So she said, I want to go back there because this place is too hot for me. So she went back and had to be brought back, rushed back in the next 5 days. Why? Because she had a heart problem, which was an old problem that she had. She'd been in the ICU for several times before this because of her heart problem, and which causes her a kind of breathing difficulty. And why I'm telling you this is because during this period, what we saw, the whole, this whole, what do you call it, blowing up of the whole medical system, and the system that actually, medicine systems are so important for us, actually fell flat in front of me, especially. Because my mother was rushed back here to the hospitals here because she was having some breathing difficulty. She needed oxygen, and she probably needed to be in the intensive care unit. So, but when we brought her back into this place, we were unable to admit her into any hospital because everyone said, "Oh, we need she needs to be tested for her, COVID." And no one. We ran from pillar to post, from hospital to hospital. In fact, in some places, sometimes we were even in that time, everything was deserted. Hospitals were deserted. We were begging for oxygen cylinders. We were looking for oxygen cylinders. We were not able to get such things. So all this thing was going on. And we were trying desperately to try and admit her in some hospital and get her some ICU, but we were unable to do it. Finally, they took her into some kind of unit in which they said that this is a kind of isolation ward. We will keep her in isolation ward till we get some kind of COVID result, and then we'll put her in, take her into the ICU. And in midnight, we said, we got a call, she needs to go into the ICU. Can you get all her papers? But by the time we reached there, she was gone. So I'm not saying that, I'm not blaming anyone in this matter because, life and death are not facts that we control. It's something that is beyond us. But I could just, and what I'm trying to tell you is this whole thing about, the whole medical thing that is, it's going to save people, they're saving people, they're working very hard. And this whole thing, kind of COVID warriors and all this actually fell flat in front of me. Because I was there. I was actually looking at her. She was actually speaking out loud, talking to the doctors till we left her late in the night. And because we were not allowed to stay with her, we stayed out. But by the time we returned, she was no longer there. So it just shows to me that this whole thing about medicine and medical systems working and not working, it all falls flat in front of this whole system. So I'm again coming back to this whole issue is that why do we celebrate Janmashtami? Why do we need this Bhagavad Gita? I've seen my other family members completely breaking down at this point that, why does this happen? We prayed to God. Why did this happen to my mother? Why did it happen to my friend? Why did it happen to my father? Like that, every one of them just was so much in distress because of this whole thing. So is it, so this whole lockdown, the whole, this whole preparedness that we're going to fight the virus with medical systems just fell flat in front of me. We may be fighting the virus. I think it's taking much fewer lives than the kind of lives it is taking by the whole medical emergency that they are creating. And in another sense also, this whole lockdown has helped out. The virus has helped out because I think 8,000 people die every day on the streets of India on road accidents. 8,000 people are being saved every day. I know this because these are the figures that I get from the hospitals here. Most of the hospitals are saying that we don't get any orthopedic entries much nowadays because there's not much traffic on the roads. So all this thing, just shows that we are actually running after shelter of something else because these things actually don't really matter for us. What really mattered during this whole time to survive was food, water, relationships, fire, and these things probably mostly do not need most of the huge infrastructure that we have in the cities. We hardly had the need for this huge, the whole advertising agencies that are there. I could see in front of me because of the heavy thunderstorms that was going on. All the, advertising sheets are all torn up. And no one really bothers to look at them also, because it doesn't really matter for us. So all this is a very big, shallow talk that we are making great advancement in medical sciences today. We are not. We're actually not making any advancement. We're only making advancement in making things more complicated, because life is the same as before. And this whole system has shown us what Krishna said again and again to us. Don't believe in all these so-called material stuff. Understand that there is only one thing that you will have to face. Jatashihi dhruvam mrityur, dhruvam janma mritasya. There is only one truth that we all have to face, and that is death. There is no other truth. There is nothing as sure as death. We cannot be sure of anything else in this world but of death. So this Bhagavad Gita, and the reason why we celebrate this Janmashtami is because it brings us closest to reality. It makes us face life. It makes us strong people, and it teaches us how to actually face life. Not to be running after the so-called phantasmagoria, being created by this whole, by the illusions that we have in our own minds. There are illusions that are being created in our own minds and by our own systems in this whole world around us. These are illusions that we can live forever on this earth. We cannot. We are just, visitors in this place. We are just guests in this place. And I would say even to the extent that we are just like goats in this place who are being fattened up by all these facilities that we are getting today. We are all nicely being fattened up, nicely being kept, very beautifully being kept, and finally slaughtered. Slaughtered by time, moved out. And I was very close to it, because in this last few months, we've had so many people dying. A lot of people, old people dying. We had to attend to so many funerals, so many cremations. Practically our devotees here are going every week or so to some cremation to chant for those people. And at that point, what really matters is not, what you have achieved in life, but what you have actually achieved in your consciousness. All that they have done, even including my mother, a successful lady professionally, everything is there. But what really mattered is her consciousness at the point of death. So what is it where is she going to go after this? What is our destination immediately after this? Where are we going to go? We are making a lot of noise about people dying or a pandemic that is capable of killing hundreds and thousands of people today. But 100% of us will all die. No one lives forever. That's the same question that Arjuna asked Krishna. He says, how can I kill my family members? How can I kill my guru? Guru nahatvahi mahanubhavan shreyam bhaktum bhakshyam apihaloke. How can I kill my guru? How can I kill such mahanubhava, such great personalities? It is not possible for me. So Krishna just turns the table around it. If you don't kill them, they won't die? Do you mean that if you don't kill them, if you don't fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, they won't die? All these people will not die? They will. They will all die. So, basically, coming back to the point is that we are here trying to come back to our position here. Basically, we are still trying to figure out whether this whole virus is spreading via droplets, or is it spreading by air, or is it spreading by touch, or whatever it is. We still don't know how things are going to go, and we're still waiting for some things to happen on its own. Practically, that is what everyone is saying. There is no medicine for this as of now. And we do not know what is going to be the result of whatever research is going on. Another thing that we found out is that the most important thing that when this whole pandemic started was that people all wanted to get back to their own homes with their own near and dear ones. There was a rush. They didn't mind even walking hundreds of kilometers to be back with their own people. It is the relationships. It wasn't the money, it wasn't the facilities, it wasn't everything. What people wanted to barely, dearly want to get back is to get back to their own people. So, but even if we do go back to our own people, how long will we be there with them? How long will we be actually with our own people? How long can you manage to stay with them? So we saw, at least in India, and we're continuing to see, even in Assam, where I am situated right now, the bigger the city is, the more vulnerable it is. The bigger cities are more vulnerable to this whole, and not just to this pandemic, but probably to the disruptions. I think the most vulnerable were the cities to the disruptions that has taken place. Because I'm in touch with a lot of people in the villages here, and even my own village, and I keep talking to them, and I've tried to find out what they are doing and how they are doing and pretty much most of them have a very good, facilities are pretty good. Socially, they are doing pretty well. Socially, they are much more better off. They're not struggling like us inside one room or 4-room houses. They're all doing much better. They're going out, they're working on the fields, they're doing their activities. And we actually, from this temple here, was trying to reach out to a lot of people. We had arranged for a lot of food to be distributed to the villages because we were not able to, cook for so many people. So it was decided that we will actually pack raw rice and dal and potatoes and other things like that and pass them over to these villages. So we were going over to all these places. And the greatest demand for these products were not so much in the villages. We went to the villages. The greatest demand for all this was actually in the cities. We had actually arranged for vegetables to be brought to the temple. And then we asked all the neighbors, because we had got a lot of extra. And so we asked the neighbors if you'd like to get, and we had a big line. And they wanted it so much more. They wanted more and more of this. Whereas when we went to the villages, people said when we went to them with rice and dal and other things like that, they said, okay, you brought it, so we will keep them. But we really don't need them. So then we asked them, what do you really need? Guess what they wanted in the villages when we asked them, what do you need? Can you guess what they wanted? You will probably never even imagine what do you think they would want. They said, please get us some matchboxes. Matchboxes is what we don't have here now. We have most of the food we have in these villages. We have fruits quite in plenty. Vegetables also more or less we can go out and collect. But we don't have matchboxes to light our fires. So we have, so we actually started to make a whole different package now. Another thing that they wanted is something which is more snacky. They were running short of snacky things like poha, or some things. Some people said get us some more other things like soybean chunks and things like that. So they were not asking us for the common stuff. So what we saw is that the cities, the bigger the cities were, the more vulnerable the people were. The more difficulties they were having, the more difficulties the city people were having with every step that was going on today in this thing. And that another thing that we realized that we actually can live without all these malls and cars and buses, and the bare necessities of life are very simple actually. We have created an unnecessary huge requirement. This is a lot of things that we're actually trying to live with, we don't really need. This whole time of lockout and being, holden to these in our homes have shown us that What we need is our basic necessities. The other things are only superfluous. So, therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yadrisha labha santishto, dvandvatita vimatsaraha, samasiddho siddho cha, chakritvapina nibaddhate. One who's satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who's free from duality and who does not envy, who's steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing different activities. And prior to that, he also says, Nirashir yata chittatma, tvakta sarva parigraha, shariram kevalam karma, kurvan napnoti kilbisham. So when we perform our activities, we have to perform our activities basically to keep our body and soul together. Shariram kevalam karma. As long as we are in this material world, we have to maintain our body and soul together. That is the most important thing that we have to do. Nirashir yata chittatma, understanding. We have to give up all proprietorship over this world. We cannot hold on to all these things. Whatever you look around, we will not be able to hold on. I remember on the day when I actually took my mother, the next day after she expired, I took her to the this time, we always had a very nice car to arrange for my mother to go, because she was, kind of lady with her kind of needs and her wants and her style of living. So she was, she wanted all these things. So we always made arrangement that she had the best of cars, or whatever car was available. She wanted comfortable, she needed the AC. But now when we were taking her, we were waiting for a hearse to come. We we wrapped her dead body. And when we put it onto this truck, and no one actually wanted to touch her body at that time. Everyone stayed away from that body. So actually we don't need all these things. What we need is just to keep our body and soul together, so that we can elevate our consciousness. Because Srila Prabhupada says very nicely, he said, if someone walks out of the car, does it mean that because he walks out of the car, he's useless? Similarly, just because a person, all of a sudden leaves the body, does it mean he becomes useless? The body becomes useless because it is no longer functioning, but the soul does not become useless. So are we prepared for our soul? Are we preparing our soul? Are we looking at who we are without the body or outside the body? So therefore, Krishna, when he was asked by Arjuna, that who's a person of steady intelligence? Sitapragya Shaka Bhasha. Krishna says, Prajahati Ada Kaman Sarva Partham Manogadan. One who gives up this whole thing, all these concoctions made with the mind. Sarva Partham Manogadan. Atmanni Evatmana Tushtaha. One who's satisfied within. One who's satisfied within himself. As you see in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, you anta aramha, anta sukha, anta jyotihi. One who's seeing the light within. Anta jyotihi. Anta aramha, who's satisfied within himself. Why is he satisfied within himself? Because he sees the real truth is within him. It is not outside of him. It is the way he understands. If he has the knowledge of the scriptures, then he understands that the truth is within him. He has to go and understand his own self better, his own consciousness better, his own situation. You anta arama, anta sukha, anta jyotihi. So when I was taking my mother's, her last journey, I was taking her body. I didn't know what to do with this body now. The body which I used to take care so much, I saw her in and out of the ICU at least 6 times. I remember so many times I took her body. She was in so much great difficulty. Even last time when she was in Belgaum only a few months ago, I took her to the hospital, admitted her, brought her out, back again, took nice care of her. I would massage her, feet, because she had some problems here and there, this and that I would keep doing. Now this body, I had nothing to do with this. So this Bhagavad Gita is for us to understand, Yasya Sarve Samarambha Kama Sankalpa Varjitaha. What is your sankalpa? When you're keeping this body going, when you're running this whole family, we are running taking care of the family, taking care of our children, our husbands, our wives, and all these things. What is our sankalpa? Do we want to get out of this material world? Because whatever sankalpa you have in this material world, we want to be rich, we want to be well off, we want to be respected by the society. What is the sankalpa we have? I remember touching my mother's dead body at that time. It was like cold rubber. It had turned almost blue. It was like cold rubber. I said, how long? And this body that is there. No one will touch this body after that time. We were trying to, as fast as possible, they were delaying from the hospital to take out her body and give it to us. We are trying as fast as possible to do the last rites because we don't know when the soul leaves this body, what will you do with this body? So what is the soul's journey? What is the sankalpa of the soul? What is our sankalpa with this body? So the Bhagavad Gita is a journey inside. Until and unless one does not do a journey inside with this Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not someone that is going to make you a very rich man. That was going to make you rich because it's going to actually save you a lot of money. Because it's going to save us from a lot of destruction. It makes us strong personalities. It makes us understand where the strength lies in. The strength lies in controlling our senses, controlling our passions, controlling our desires, controlling our weaknesses, that is basically for sense gratification. Giving ourselves to the mind, fickle-mindedness, wasting of time, which I have done for years and I still keep doing. I still have the bad habit. When I see a newspaper, it's very difficult to again bring myself back from it. But I know it's wastage of time. No matter how much newspaper, how much bundles and bundles of newspaper I read, it is not going to save me from the final thing in life. That this body that I have is going to be thrown out. What are we going to do with this body? So coming back to this issue is that how to fully live in this life. What should we do to fully live in this life and exist in this life and perform in this life? And what we found out also is that most of our jobs were quite useless. No one needed our jobs, actually. We thought we had very good jobs, very important jobs, but most of our jobs were quite useless during this whole pandemic. They were actually, no one is suffering because we are not doing our jobs. Maybe the only job that people are suffering from is if they don't get water, they don't get their food, and some shelter, roti, kapda, makan. Most of the other things that were quite useless. And another thing that we realized is that the government is actually, the schools and colleges are also not required. People are very happy, studying at home, giving exams from home. And this whole education system and school buses, uniforms, running to schools and spending time, it was quite useless. I think the whole alternative system can be devised. A complete different system of education can very well be devised when we don't need all these things. And of course, the most important thing that we have realized is that the planet is definitely getting better. In spite of so many, meetings of the, United Nations for meeting for climate change, all these meetings that are there, which couldn't do so much protests, so many meetings, so many government agencies, what couldn't do, a small virus did it. It cleaned up the whole environment. We can see it actually when you go around here. We can see, everyone is telling me here, those who live in the city of Guwahati, they're saying, we've never seen such clear skies ever. We've seen clear blue skies in the city. People have never seen such clear blue skies. They've never seen clear clear, beautiful birds that they are seeing today. So many birds. I remember when the first 2 weeks of lockdown took place, the first set of lockdowns, we saw all these migratory ducks flying on the sky. People who are old people say, oh, we remember seeing them when we were young. And here we saw them all flying around. And next day, of course, people were giving us pictures of them in the small pond here, a small lake in the middle of the city. All these, ducks, the wild ducks were there. So, as people are always reminding us, what we need to do is to understand that this life is very short, and it's very precious. And this precious life has to be kept, has to be utilized very nicely. It's very precious. If we misuse it, or we don't have a proper use of this, we don't make a proper use of this, then we don't know where we're going to go. When is there going to be our next chance? People during this pandemic, are always bothered about careers, what's going to happen to their careers, what's going to happen to our business, how are we going to, the future, the studies, all these things are so important. All these, but only if we can live. If we don't live, all these things are not so important. Our educations and things like that. So we have to first live very healthy lives. Shariram kevalam karma. It would be difficult for me to actually be, at one time I had some fancy ideas when I was a kid that I would like to be a doctor, but when I realized what it means to wear a mask and live around and walk around and do things, I found that thank God, God did not make me a doctor or a surgeon, and I had to wear masks all the time. It's so difficult to breathe with this mask. I don't know how they're trained to do such things. Doctors are, wearing masks so many hours. It's so difficult actually to survive. So actually life is precious, and we have these masks have shown us that it was such a pleasure to actually breathe without some kind of, thing in front of us. Breathing is such an important thing, which could be jeopardized if we don't know how to live properly. And this whole issue of these diseases are coming more and more. It is because of the dropping of the immunity. Our immunity has dropped. It is actually a biological problem. Diseases are a biological problem. They are not technical problems. They are not technological problems, neither it is a policing problem. The main problem is biology. Our immunity systems have broken down. And how do you improve your immunity? Another thing that we realized from this whole thing, which I would is that while Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 3rd chapter, when he's explaining that we all have to perform activities, nahi kashit shanam api jatu tishtati akarma krit karyate hi avasha karma jair prakritir jan gunan. Jair gunan. He says everyone has to act. No one can stop acting. Every jiva, every person who lives is actually acting. He's active. You cannot make him inactive. But let us understand one thing. We are trying to, in this whole system of, this whole time of COVID and this whole virus issue that we have, the coronavirus issue that we have, we're trying to keep people indoors, saying that this is actually going to prevent the disease from spreading, which is probably true. But it is one thing that we have to realize, that people are actually active. They want activity. It is not only the mind that works. They also physically need activity. Both the physical and mental activity are required. And they're both proper energies which have to be channelized in the proper way. So if we do not channelize our activities in the proper way, whether it is the bodily activity or the physical, mental activity, both have to be properly channelized. So Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita that if you're thinking that we will not make you, if you don't work, if you don't keep your actions, what do you call it? You don't perform your actions, then you will be safe. We were trying to tell people, don't act, don't move out of the house, you'll be safe. But that is not true. Why? Because Krishna is saying here, and we see it also, what happened. Karmendriyani samyamya yaste manasasmaran. You may be able to restrain your physical senses, but can you restrain your mind? Can we restrain our mind? No. And because of which we are now realizing that even though we are restraining people from their senses when thinking that they'll get affected by COVID and yet we'll have a massive disease outbreak, but what we actually have is a mental problem. Karma indriyani samyamya yaste manasasmaran indriyartha vimodhatma mithyasarasa uchyate. But the mind is active and mind is causing problems to others. So we have to have both physical activity and mental activity, proper mental activity. By restraining people from physical activity and telling them not to do anything and keeping them in the houses, we thought they're going to be safe. Everyone, like we see every week, people love to get their holidays. They say, oh, Saturday, Sunday, it's a time we enjoy ourselves on Saturday, Sundays. Now we got such a long Saturday, Sunday, months and months together. But what is happening when we're getting months and months of Saturday, Sundays, stay at home? People are going crazy mentally. Why? Because you cannot restrain your mind from working. Mind also needs working, your physical senses also need working. If both are not worked, then you become a mithyachara sauchyate. You land up in another problem. Vimudhatma. Indriyarthan vimudhatma. Unable to act with the senses, the mind becomes vimudha, bewildered, what to do. They do not understand what is the sankalpa, what is the future, what is the goal that I'm trying to achieve in life, what is my purpose of my life. Because the body will anyway end. One day they will take this body and burn it. So what is the end of our lives? Where are we going actually? So all this is a part of the learning that we got in this few months that, months that we've been here. And also we learned one more thing, that money is not so important. We had money in this place. We had a lot of money, but we could not buy things. I remember all our neighbors here, they all came to us because we arranged for some vegetables. All the neighbors didn't have vegetables for, first week. We arranged for them for vegetables in the second week. They had all, but money was ready with them, but they didn't have anything to eat. So money is not so important. We think money is only a means to the to our necessities. So we need to engage. We need real physical and mental engagement. Without proper mental and physical engagement, we will become vimudhatma, we become crazy. We have to understand that our needs are actually very little, and therefore, as Krishna says, shariram kevalam karma. Just try to maintain your body and senses. Understand, most important thing in life is what is your sankalpa in your life? What do you want to achieve in life? And why are we doing all this thing that is going on? Government after government is doing all these things just to save lives. But for how long will you be alive? I remember the first time I went to Manipal. This was way back in 1993. And this is year 2000. And I've aged so much in these past few years. Now I cannot think of, in those days we were taking a motorcycle and driving from Mangalore to Manipal. Now I cannot even dream of doing such a thing. Because my body is also aging. So our journey on this world is very short. But somehow this journey that we have to make it very fruitful. By actually entering into this Bhagavad Gita. This Bhagavad Gita is a very systematic treatise. But one who does not have a very systematic understanding of spiritual life just tries to take something from here, something from there, snatch a little bit of knowledge from here, snatch a little bit of knowledge from there, take this one parable from here, another parable from here, one shloka from here, one verse from here, one word from here, and just trying to, make up some kind of theory of spiritual life. It's not going to work, because that is going to give rise to a lot of frustration. It is not going to give us answers to our life. The answers are in a very systematic treatise of the Bhagavad Gita. It's the most, I would say, it is the most systematic treatise that is ever available to anyone on this universe. In just 700 verses, a very systematic presentation of what is spiritual life, what is spirit, what are our activities in this world, what should be the way we live in this world, what should we do, what should be our sankalpa. Everything is very systematically explained. Everything, from our breath to our death, everything is explained in this Bhagavad Gita systematically. Without a systematic understanding of a life and its origins and its end, we will simply become, we'll just become useless names in this world. So that is why BYS, we've always wanted only one thing, basically, and we've always tried to help people with that, is that they just understand, just for once in their life, they should read the Bhagavad Gita. Because I don't think, as a student, I was ever given a chance to read the Bhagavad Gita. And because of which, we landed up in doing so many nonsense things in life. But this one hope that we got is when we actually read the Bhagavad Gita systematically once. Systematically, please read this Bhagavad. This is going to solve so many of our problems. So many problems can be solved if we simply understand what the Bhagavad Gita is saying. It's such a powerful book. It's such a wonderful book. And it's not what I am saying. Anyone who matters in this world has read the Bhagavad Gita will tell it. So therefore, we are hoping that this Janmashtami we celebrate every year is basically to bring people to one thing which is most important, is that Krishna. And why is Krishna so important? Because of his teachings. Because the teachings that he's given to us is such wonderful, such fantastic. But unfortunately, most of us do not have the time to read this Bhagavad Gita, or do not have the patience to understand this Bhagavad Gita. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrataha. I am not revealed to everyone. Bhagavad Gita is not going to be revealed to everyone. It needs a little patience, some endeavor, because it's such an important knowledge. So we request everyone to kindly take up reading of this Bhagavad Gita systematically. Don't take a snatch from here, snatch from there. Chapter 1 to chapter 18. Repeat again and again, repeat. This Bhagavad Gita is, no matter how many times you repeat, there's no end to it. It's Ananta. And this is actually going to make us very strong. And this is also to be taught by the parents to their children. Mata Shatru Pita Vairi Yabhyam Balana Pathita Sabhamadhyena Shobhante Hamsamadhye Bako Yatha. We may think that we have taught our children a lot of nice things. But if we have not taught them the Bhagavad Gita, when they go into a big meeting of Hamsa or great learned people, they'll behave like fools in front of them. Why fools? Because we will actually not learn to give importance to what is to be given importance to. Are we to be given importance to the body or to the qualities that we have? Or the soul? What is more important for us? All this is very systematically presented in the Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, parents who do not teach their children scriptures, they actually become enemies of their children. Mata Shatrur Pita Vairi Yabhyam Balana Patita. They do not teach their children scriptures. And therefore, Hamsa Madhya Bako Yatha. In an assembly of Hamsas, he becomes a Baka. Unable to know what to do, what not to do. Just talk some nonsense politics, which is anyway, politics is a shifting sand. Science is a shifting sand. Today it is that, tomorrow it is something else. There is no certainty of knowledge in any of these fields. The only field there is certainty of knowledge is the Bhagavad Gita. It's certain knowledge. It's not floundering knowledge, not floundering knowledge. No knowledge that is going to have shifting, solid knowledge. Solid. So wonderful that the person becomes steady as a rock. Such is the wonders of the Bhagavad Gita. So please, we will gradually end our discussions here. We would hope to have interacted with a lot of you, but since this whole medium is something new, I don't know whether we can or cannot interact with all kinds of people. But definitely, this is our take that the Janmashtami is a day on which we again and again remind ourselves of Krishna and what he has given us, his teachings. Such wonderful teachings that he has given us. And it doesn't matter who you are, it is available for everyone. And it's the most systematic scientific treatise of spirituality that can ever be obtained anywhere in the world. You can try it out. I have read all kinds of books. If there's anything that is comparable to the Bhagavad Gita, it's just such a wonderful treatise. So Krishna spoke this on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And this Bhagavad Gita is what you can judge a person by what he speaks. So we can judge what Krishna was from what he has spoken. This fantastic treatise of Bhagavad Gita. So please take it up. Please, Krishna's Janmashtami is to remind us again and again who came us and who could have spoken such a book, such knowledge. No one could have done this. It's superhuman. It's Aparushaya. It's not an ordinary person who has spoken such things. So kindly take this up. It is almost 9:10, and I hope I'll take permission from the host of this program that maybe I can close here for now. Are there any other questions or any things that you want me to address or?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So we're
Hare
very
Krishna.
grateful for your enlightening words today. So Prabhuji, if you don't mind, if you have time, can we have 2 questions?
Sure, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I would request the audience to just raise your hand and we'll unmute you so that you can ask your question to the speaker. You just need to raise your hand, we'll unmute you. So I think Akinchan Prabhu has a question. Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji, please, you can ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful and enlightening class, Prabhuji. You spoke such exactly how we related in our whole pandemic. You just walked us through it and what does the frailties, I would say, of modern life. So thank you so much for this, Prabhuji. My question is, Prabhu, as youth, nowadays we see how the media has politicized religion. And whenever you look at the news or you read the newspaper, it's either someone fighting with someone or someone doing something. But Prabhupada speaks about this being a science of the science of devotional service. So how can science be sectarian? Like, I just wanted to, if you could throw some light on that. How is this science, which is what is there in Prabhupada's books, not something which is sectarian in something like that, Prabhu? If I've got my question, if I've been able to relate to you properly, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, there is a lot of talk about religion, And as the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha Manmayama Upashita Bhova Jnana Tapasa Putamad Bhava. In this stage, Krishna is saying, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. One has to give up attachment, fear, and anger. Raga, Bhaya, and Krodha. So what you're speaking of is basically the Krodha in this section, in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verse number 10. So this is Krodha. Krodha means there is so many contradictory things that people are seeing when they're reading spiritual, they're going to religious people or something like that. They're going through there's so many contradictory things that they're coming up with. So they kind of feel frustrated with this. It's leading to a level of frustration. People are getting frustrated with this whole unqualified people talking about so-called religion, or who have no understanding what is religion. They may be scholars of something or whatever it is, but because they are not actually people who have understood things in the proper line as it is to be understood. So this is resulting in frustration amongst people. This is because of so many contradictory theories that come up in so-called religion, because they have not understood anything systematically. Religion for them is a parable here, parable there, some ritual here, ritual there. Mix all of that up and come up with some fantastic so-called quotes or lines which make you feel very scholarly, that you're very religious, you've understood a lot of stuff. Quote something here, quote something there. But no, we have misunderstood one thing, that Krishna consciousness or religion is actually basically, first and foremost, it's just common sense. It's just plain common sense. When you read the Bhagavad Gita, he's not talking about some fantastic stuff. He's just talking about something which is called common sense. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. As plain as the nose on your face. Death is waiting for every one of you. The body is changing all the time. You will never be inactive in this world. People don't understand this basic stuff. They think by meditation you have to close yourself down from everything. Keep yourself shut. It is not possible. Nahi kasyit chanamapi jat tishtati akarma. You can never be silent even for a moment. Then Krishna says further on, Kim karma kim akarma iti kavayo atra mohita. Even great learned people are bewildered by what is karma, what is akarma, what is vikarma, what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is free from karma, which is the real action. Those systematic presentations are made in the Bhagavad Gita. So if we simply, and that too also the Bhagavad Gita as it is, with simple common sense as it is presented, without trying to screw out some fantastic meaning out of the whole thing. If the simple common sense Bhagavad Gita is understood, they'll understand all what is religion and religious practice. But because no one has the time to do it, no one wants to do it. So they keep on complicating religion or religious practices more and more, till everyone comes to a level of frustration and wants to give it up. All the wrangling with the Bhagavad Gita and the religious ideas has caused more damage to religious and to the cause of religion than anything else, than the whole bunch of atheists around. It is this whole mixed up ideas because they are not simply following, simply reading and understanding the simple message of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's real simple common sense. Okay, I hope it answers your question.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful answer, Prabhu. You made it quite clear. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. So
Yes,
I think
sir.
we have one more question. Is it okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, it's okay.
Yes, Praful, too. You can unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful session. My question is, you mentioned about sankalpa. If I try to analyze my experience in this 30 years, so my education, my decisions, career, everything has been decided by some, or it is motivated by some external forces or factors. Now, I don't know what does it mean by sankalpa, or how does Bhagavad Gita help me to have a sankalpa in my life? Can you please elaborate it, and how one can act once they understood what their sankalpa in their life? Thank you.
यस्य सर्वे समारंभः काम संकल्प वर्जितः ज्ञानाग्नि दग्ध कर्माणं तमाहु पंडितम बुध. Every action that we perform, we do not perform any action without actually having a justification for it, or some kind of determination on the basis of which we take up any action. Actions have some determination. This is why we do this action. This is why we take up this action. This is why we start taking up a job. This is why we sit for an exam. This is why we get married. This is why we want a house. All of this has a sankalpa. There is a sankalpa for all this. So the sankalpa, what is the sankalpa that we have? What is the purpose? In simple terms, what is the purpose? What do you want to achieve with your life? In Vedic terminology, it is the prayojana. What is the need that you're working for in this life? So because most of the people, if you ask them, if you press them hard, even for me, when I was young, if someone asked me, what do you want to become in life? I would say, well, I want to become a doctor, or I want to become an engineer, or I want to become a tea garden manager. In Assam, this is a very common thing that they have. This is another professional thing that they have here. What do you want to become? A tea garden manager. It's a cozy job here, or rather an assistant manager to start with. But the point is, what I'm trying to make is that if you press him hard, why do you want to become a tea garden manager? Or why do you want to become a doctor? Why do you want to become an engineer? If you ask them further, if you press the question even further, why do you want to become like that? Then what will they answer? Are they really interested in the profession as a doctor or an engineer, or what are they interested in? Most probably they're interested in the money that we'll get, or the position that they'll get, or the livelihood options that are there for them. It is not, it is a quality of life that they're looking for. It is the quality of life that they are going to get by this. So are they sure about the quality of life that they want? What is the quality of life that they want? I'll give you another example of the sankalpa. You see, when we are young, especially young boys, I know they fight with their parents, asking them, at least in the big cities, I want a motorcycle, or I want a cycle, or a motorcycle, or a car, or whatever it is. I want this, I want that. So if you press the boy, why do you want a motorcycle for? Is the motorcycle per se is very important for you, or the motorcycle will give you a quality of life? Like, for example, it gives you the freedom of travel to go and come. Or is it going to give you a position in your amidst your friends? Is it giving you the position? So what is it that your motorcycle that you're actually looking for? No, I want to show that I'm also rich enough. I also can own a motorcycle. I can also drive around. Is it that what is going to show you? So what is the motivation? What is the quality of life that you're looking for that actually motivates you to do all these things? And if we actually very deeply examine what is the quality of life we are looking for, we will probably not do a lot of things that we are doing, and we are pressing others to do. Because people are not all confused. They think, like for example, people think getting a lot of money is actually the goal of life. But actually, if you press a person hard enough, you will see that it is not money that will make you successful in life. It is what is it that you want? I want a comfortable place to live in. Then work for it. Why are you working for money? Because eventually it's going around. You're trying to eat the other way. You're not trying to. So the point is that this is one of the reasons why we are landing up like sheep, just following one person who's going this way. So a whole bunch of people are following in that way, imitating. Because the sankalpa, the reason why we are the quality of life that we're looking for now, tomorrow, and even in our old age, the quality of life that you're looking for. What is the community that you want to live in eventually? What is the kind of life? Would you like to have your children around you in your old age? Would you like to have the whole family together or no? When all this is decided, then only we actually become, what do you call it? Our sankalpa is very clear. But when the sankalpa is not very clear, then we try out this, try out that, and we'll end up in frustration, in intrigues of this material world. We are fed up and frustrated with different things that go along with us because our sankalpa is not clear. And again, there's one more thing that happens with us. We keep forgetting why we originally came to do something. Like, for example, I'll end with this. I remember in Manipal, every year we meet so many boys who come to Manipal. And why did they come to Manipal? Basically, to study. But you ask a lot of them, are they actually studying? How many of them are actually studying? They're all busy hanging around here, hanging around there, going to this joint, that joint, watching this, watching that. They lose their sankalpa, they lose their goal, the very quality of what they came here looking for. Similarly, also here in this material world, another example is we buy a telephone or a mobile phone because we want to communicate with people. But what do we end up doing with the mobile phone? Do we all the time communicate only, or we actually waste a lot of time with this or miscommunicate with this? So in the same way, sankalpa is that. What is the quality of life that you came looking for? What is the quality of life you're looking for? And if we can decide on what is the quality of life that we're looking for, then we have the sankalpa very clear. Okay. So yes, thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, Abhay.
Yes, Preeti. Thank you so much for your time and your valuable words and highlighting how the COVID situation actually brought out the real necessity for all of us, the necessity of understanding, reading Bhagavad Gita and applying those principles. Thank you very much for your association today. And so next we'll be having the Arati, but just before that, we would like to let all of you know that every Saturday we are having our regular Love Feast, Saturday Love Feast program, and we have various wonderful speakers to share their pearls of wisdom, their wonderful thoughts. So we would like to welcome all of you to attend those programs. You can stay in touch. You can get the details on Facebook page as well. And next week, I would request Akinchan Prabhu to just put up the poster for the next week Saturday program. Do we have it? Okay, so we'd like to see all of you attend these programs as well. They're very intriguing. They're very thoughtful, and just like what we had a glimpse of it today. Even speakers like Madhava Prabhu will be addressing all of us, and it's a wonderful opportunity to keep reconnecting to that reality, right? So that's one thing. And those Saturday programs, usually they have, it's from 7 to 9. So we can all, keep aside 2 hours, especially in our, 24/7 times, so many hours we have during these lockdown. And before we can proceed to Arati, I would like to just make a couple of acknowledgements to all the brains and brawn that was behind this program. So first of all, I'd like to again convey my gratitude on behalf of BYS to His Grace Madhava for sharing the pearls of wisdom and enlightening us today on this special occasion of Janmashtami. And I would like to convey my gratitude to Sudama Prabhu and team for the wonderful Kirtan that you all heard during Abhishekam. And Raktak Prabhu, who is the president of ISKCON Udupi, and team for the wonderful Abhishekam, the blissful event that we all witnessed. And Shankar for decoration, Prabhakar for sound system, Venkateshwar for Pandal, Kartikeya Prabhu for the poster that we had invited all of you for with. Then on ground team, that is Vedant Prabhu, Sundar Prabhu and his wife Manjunath Prabhu, and also Kartikeya Prabhu, and headed by Kishan Prabhu, the head behind it all. And the participants for the various competitions, we were very surprised at the numbers that turned out. So thank you all. And the core team with Akinshan Prabhu, Rangesh Prabhu, Prafulla Prabhu, Devesh Prabhu, Vasu Prabhu, and Omkar Prabhu, for trying to put weeks or at least days of time in to organize this entire festival for all of you. And Kishan Prabhu, of course, the head behind it all, for getting us all together and putting is in all or bringing all this into existence. Yes, I would like to convey my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the BYS team to all of these devotees. Right. So next, I would request, next we'll be having Arati, but I would request all of you to stay in. It will be, I think, around 15 minutes, where the Lords will be worshipped, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. And after that, they'll be showing the photo of the Chappan Bhog offering, which is being made to Jagannath today. So, of course, being online, it's not very, the virtual bhoga is not equally palatable, but still through our eyes, we can relish some taste, right? So I request all of you to stay through the Arti and also, get darshan of the bhoga offering, right? And with that, I think we'll start the Arti if they're ready.
I would just quickly come in and want to thank Abhay Prabhu also for being such a wonderful host today. He's been there throughout the program and coordinated very nicely. Thank you, Prabhu, for coming and helping us. And, it's all this Janmashtami everywhere. And somehow we have managed. And so thank you, Prabhu, for all the coordination today. Hare Krishna. So now we'll have Arati. Hare Krishna.
Also make a special message of gratitude to Her Grace Falini Mataji, who joined us today. I'm not sure whether she's still online, but she joined us today. She's a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and her presence is, it is an indication of her blessings, and we're very grateful for that. And also Gaur Gopal Prabhu from Hyderabad, who joined us today. You can find his attractive kirtans on Facebook every day, practically. So you can probably, log on to that. And also Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu, who used to conduct many programs in Manipal. So heartfelt gratitude for them also for joining today. I think now we can shift to the Arti. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Jai Jai Nanda Yashoda Dula Girivaradhari Gopal. Jai Jai Nanda Yashoda Dula Girivaradhari Gopal. Jai Jai Nanda Yashoda Dula Girivaradhari Gopal. Jai Jai Girivaradhari Gopal. Girivaradhari Gopal. Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Astagyadishatarine Namaste Gauravani Pracharine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadadhar Srivasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Baladeva. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavadule Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavadule Jagannath Swami Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavadule Jagannath Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Swami Jai Jagannath. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, 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 Krishna Balaram. Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram 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 Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Ishtapada Paramahamsa Pravedikacharya Ashtotra Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki Ramacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की समवेत भक्त वृंद की उडुपी धाम की श्री कृष्ण जन्म महामहोत्सव की Gaura Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Yato yato yami yato yato yami yato yato yami Pahir simar dagin simla Pahir simar dagin simla Narasimha madhu charanam prapati Narasimha Narasimha madhu charanam prapati Kavakara kamalavare Naka madhuta sringa Hiranyakasipo Tanopinga Shabhakrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagarisha Hare Jaya Jagarisha Hare Jaya Jagarisha Hare Kamalavare Naka Madhuta Sringa Dahita Hiranyakasipo Tanopinga Shabhakrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagarisha Hare Jai Jagarisha Hare Jai Jagarisha Hare Kavakara Keshavapita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagarisha Hare Jaya Jagarisha Hare Jaya Jagadish Hari. Jaya Jagadish Hari. Jayo Narsimha Jaya Narsimha Narsimha Jaya Narsimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Narahari 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 Jaya Narahari Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Prahlad 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 Jaya Prahlad Prahlad Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev सर्व विघ्नाश नरसिंह भगवान की भक्तराय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय श्री कृष्ण जन्म महामहोत्सव की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
Hare Krishna. So that brings us to the end of our program. But before we can end, we would like to hear from Kishan Prabhu, who has organized the entire program this evening. So over to Kishan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Can I hear some Hare Krishnas, please? Hare Krishna. Yes. First of all, thank you all for coming. First of all, I think we should start thanking His Grace Madhava Prabhu for kindly giving us this association from such a distance. He's in Meghalaya now. So Madhava Prabhu, who is in Meghalaya, he has spent so much time. Is he online still? Is he there? Madhava Prabhu is still there online?
He is not.
He's left. Okay. Yes, I would also like to thank today many devotees. Yeah, His Grace Madhava Prabhu, yes. And also we have His Grace Gopinath Prabhu and Anurag Bhaiya and all those devotees, Riyush Bhaiya and Keshavananda Prabhu, Gaurav, and so many devotees who started this place long time back, somewhere in 1996 in our Hari Priya. We also have His Grace Atma Tattva Prabhu, who initially started off the base, and these devotees all took over from him. Thank you. Thank you also, Malini Mataji. All of you people had started this place initially. Thank you very much. Because of it, we still have this program going on. Next year will be our 25th year. So a big Haribol to that. Hare Krishna. So yes, I would also like to thank all the devotees who made this program today happen. I would like to thank first His Grace Rakta Govind Prabhu, who is here. Yeah. Dr. Govind Prabhu is the Hari Bol. Radha Mataji also. We have Giridhari Prabhu for your kind Abhishekam and bringing the beautiful deities of Sri Sri Radha Govind. Every year it is a desire for us that whatever happens, there is an earthquake, bhukampa, volcano, whatever. We want the deities of Sri Radha Govind to bless us. So we are very blessed. Ki Jai. And also next would be, I would like to thank a couple of people. Yes, we can start with Kartikeya Goswami Prabhu for the beautiful, what you call as working on the dress of Jagannath. We have also, the dress has been also been sponsored from our Vasudev Prabhu side. And I think Pratik Prabhu also has contributed for the dress. Thank you very much. Our dear Prabhuji. Where is our Pujari Prabhu? I am not able to see the Pujari Prabhu. Where is he sitting? Yes, we have the Pujari Prabhu. Vedant Prabhu for beautiful, Pujari work since morning. Since yesterday, he's been doing a lot of seva. Our dear Sundar Prabhu and Kirti Mataji for coming here and also contributing in seva, doing a lot of seva here. We have our Manjunath Prabhu doing the seva. Thank you very much, Manjunath Prabhu. We have Kartikeya Goswami is done. Yes, also we have our dear Sudama Prabhu. How can we forget? Yes, the Sudama Prabhu has also been there, and thank you Sudama Prabhu and team for coming here and doing the Kirtan. We are blessed. Every year, all the devotees all over the world would like to hear your Kirtan. So thank you very much. Hari Bol. And yes, we have a couple of other people also to thank. Who else is to thank? Yes, Kiran is there to thank. Satish is to thank. Thank you for helping in the kitchen. We have our dear Shankar Prabhu who has done a beautiful decoration of Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. The altar, the whole set has been done by Shankar Prabhu. Thank you very much. Prabhakar sound system for all the helping with the sounds with us. Because it in spite of such a situation, he has in a short notice he has given a good facility to us. We have Sachin also has been helping out with us here. We big thanks to Prabhakar sound system. From him I got a contact, Arvind Siral our Prasad sir, from who helped us in helping us to get contacts to show this program live. And we have Kiran behind the camera who has done a big seva today by showing this program all over the world. Without him it would have been very difficult. Shiva Prabhu and his wife, Prabhu or aapki wife jo aake for the cleaning of the place. And Manjunath Prabhu, yes, for helping us with for the small Jagannath. We took Jagannath on a small Rath Yatra in the car. Thank you, Manjunath Prabhu. And yes, I would also like to thank, how can I forget to thank the online people who all helped us. We can start off by thanking our dear Rangesh Prabhu, Ankit Prabhu, Abhay Prabhu, and Vasu Prabhu, Devesh, Prafulla, Akshay, and all the devotees who helped in organizing the online program of this, conducting the competition. We had 3 competitions. All success, all congratulations to the winners. A lot of work has gone behind it. So I I thank all the online supporters who helped us. Also, another thanks we should go to all the devotees who helped sponsoring this program also. Thank you all. Seniors, I would like to thank our dear Akshay. We should remember Jignesh. We should also remember Shashi Prabhu. How can we forget Shashi Prabhu? Without him, it would be very difficult. Prafulla, Aurobindo Prabhu, Chaitanya, Kishan, Nirbhay, Atul, and Vipul Bhaiya. There's so many people to remember. I hope I'm not doing an offense. Chiranjeevi is there in Bangalore. And yes, Hardik and Ashutosh. Ashutosh has got a baby by the name Ashwi. And yes, Hardik has also got a daughter. I wish him all, I congratulate them and I wish them all the best. I pray to them that their children also become big devotees of Krishna. A special thanks to Nirbhay also. Thank you, Nirbhay. Nirbhay is there. And also Anurag, Vasista, Siddhant, Atul, yes, everybody. Yes, thank you all. Thank you all the devotees who helped us. We are all remembering all of you people here today. All our Sundar Prabhu and also Akshata Mataji, my wife, Akshata, and we had Sundar Prabhu's wife, and Kartikeya, all working together and helping to make the Chapan Bhog. We'll be sending the photographs quickly. I would request somebody to take photo and just send it across to them. Again, thank you very much. I wish you all a happy Janmashtami. May the blessings of Sri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra be on you always. May the blessings of Sri Sri Radha Govind be on you always. And the blessings of Sri Sri Srila Prabhupada be on you always. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sri Sri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Maharani ki. Sri Sri Radha Govind ki. Jai. Hare Krishna. Also, next year being the 25th year, we hope we can have a grand celebration. So all of you people make plans of coming to Manipal next year. With this, we close the program. We'll be having prasadam, and for the devotees who are watching online, we'll be sending the online photograph of prasadam. You can all enjoy all the prasadam looking at it online. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But we can all sing the Mahaprasade Govinde together tune. I would request everybody to sing the Mahaprasade tune with me. Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmanya Vaishnave Swalpa Punyam Vratam Rajan Vishwasho Naiva Jayate Sharira Avidya Jal Jitendriya Tahe Kal Jive Phale Vishya Sagare Taro Madhya Jivaiti one nimsha Lobo Maya Sudharmati Take Chitta Katina Samsare Krishna Bada Dayamoy Kori Bore Jiva Joy Soprasadan Nadilobai Senamrita Pao Sri Radha Krishna Gunagao Premita Kusha Chaitanya Nitai Jai Nimai Jai Nitai Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Shri Shri Radha Govind Mahaprasadam ki Hare Krishna. Also devotees, 1 second. Prabhuji, I forgot to mention one thing. We have a beautiful deity of Narsimhadev, beautiful Narsimhadev and Narsimha Saligram. Shri Shri Narsimhadev Bhagwan ki. Also the Gaurnitai deity, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. With this we close the program. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. Hare Krishna.
We still have devotees on the call. I've stopped the stream, so devotees just want to speak something, can speak as well. Or we can close. Kirtan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. To all those who are still logged on, a kind reminder for upcoming Saturday regular feast, love feast that we have by His Grace Gadadhar Prabhu, who will be enlightening us on this wonderful topic of demystifying reincarnation. So please drop in, and starting at 7 p.m. Okay, Hare Krishna.